So he told me this story. His testimony was like he felt lost, but then realized that board games were a way for him to connect with other community, and then saw that there were other people there as well. And I just thought, wow, this is so powerful, man. This is like a true testimony of what God is doing in this space. Hey guys, thanks for tuning into this episode. We are brought to you by our sponsors, that being Fearless Nonprofit. They are a small but growing ministry that seeks to help out the communities in need around them. They also have a biblically based trading card game soon to be released called Victory 7. If you want to learn more, check them out at fearlessnonprofit.org. And we also are sponsored by Camp Living Waters. Camp Living Waters is home of the Game Changer Board Gaming Retreat located in Luther, Michigan. They host all kind of other events as well. If you want to learn more about them, check them out at camplivingwaters.org as well. And you can follow both of them on their socials at Facebook and Instagram. Shout out to our sponsors and a huge thank you.
Welcome to the Christian Board Gamers Podcast, where we focus on Jesus, community, and board games. Let's have some fun.
What is up? You're listening to the Christian Board Gamers Podcast, proud members of the Love Thy Nerd Podcast Network. Man, we are so excited to be back with another episode. Ray, how are you doing this fine evening?
Joe, I am doing incredible, man. It is it's amazing to be here this evening. And I am so looking forward to the rest of this episode.
Yeah, man. Praise God. Y'all, it has been a journey just to get to this point. We have had so many technical difficulties. You know, a little bit of a plug for what's going on in the group. We dropped the CBG Connect app today, so you'll know now when we're recording this. And you know, just working through some bugs and getting all that stuff and just all the technical stuff there. And then I got a new computer and we're trying to get everything set up on this. The OBS and all this recording. Jazz and everything's going all crazy. And at one point, man, my voice just changed pitch. I sounded like a Keebler elf. Not really sure what's going on there.
Funniest thing, yes.
It was wild. And then, and so now we're getting here, and it took probably a few little takes even just to get the intro done because we can't stop laughing. So there's a lot that's going to be out
Par
ahead.
for the course for the evening, Joe. This is going to be a good episode. I can guarantee that.
I can guarantee. Well, I mean, it depends on how we define good. But yeah, I hope that it is. I hope when you listen, you'll enjoy it. We got a lot to cover today, actually, because we're going to talk about River of Gold, which is just a really fun game. We're going to chat through that. We've got a tabletop testimony that Ray is going to share with us. We'll walk through that, and then we're going to actually talk about something a little bit more serious as we look at our lives as Christians as it relates to our bodies being the temple of God and just how we care for ourselves and those kind of things. And so lots to cover today. But again, as it comes to the tabletop testimonies, do want to remind you, we want to hear those things. What is God doing at your table, and what have you seen God do at the table, right? You can send your tabletop testimony to cbglootdrop@gmail.com. That's cbglootdrop@gmail.com. We'll have those links all there for you. Send those in. We really want to hear what God's doing, and even if it's just a short one, it's okay. That's totally fine. There's no length requirements, so send those in. And then also we're doing that segment called Your Turn, where we play a game that you guys want us to play from the community, and we'll play it. So long as it's not Ark Nova, we will play that game. So you can send that into cbglootdrop@gmail.com as well. And these are going to be ongoing things that happen for seasons upon seasons. Right now, we're just trying to get people to send some stuff in, which is why you haven't really heard or seen any of that. We're just building that up a little bit and letting it go. So excited for that. Also want to note, as you heard in our sponsors with Camp Living Waters, they are one of our sponsors here. We have a Game Changer board gaming retreat in Luther, Michigan. Ray, what is going on there? Ray's got this he's got this smoke machine going on. If you aren't watching it on YouTube, you ain't gonna see what I'm talking about. But you're missing out.
I read a post that said the Holy Spirit can't activate unless the fog machine is working. So I figured I better get that rolling.
You must have read that on the internet because everything on the internet's true. Naturally,
right.
bro. Not going to get into that. Side note, put a pin in it. We ain't coming back to it. All right, cool. Game Changer Board Gaming Retreat at Camp Living Waters in Luther, Michigan. That's going to be September 19th through the 21st. Registration is open. It is coming up. It's less than a month away. We got people registering. It's going to be an absolute blast. And so that is the Game Changer Board Gaming Retreat at Camp Living Waters in Luther, Michigan. You can check that out as Ray said in the sponsors at camplivingwaters.org. All right, cool. And also, if you are interested in going on mission, being on mission, using board games to reach people for Jesus, man, oh man, do we want to talk with you? We're looking at PAX U, right? PAX Unplugged out in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, man. We got to go and show them Jesus. We want you to join us with Love Thy Nerd. Man, come out to that. It's going to be a phenomenal trip. It's going to be November 20th through the 24th. We are going to have a fantastic time. We're looking for people right now. So, again, if you're hearing the sound of my voice and you're like, I love Jesus, I love other people, I love board games, I want to use these things to the glory of God, let's get it. Let's get on mission. You'll find links and everything in the show notes. But for real, PAX Unplugged is going to be a really great time. So this is a good time for you to step in with Love Thy Nerd and go on mission. We'll get you trained up. There's all sorts of fun stuff. Have these conversations and go reach people for Christ. So that is pretty much everything I had to get through, which is awesome. I said, let's do it in 5 minutes, and it's been 6 minutes. So we're close.
Knocked it out.
Yeah, it's there. But yeah, we do, because we have a lot to cover. So we want to kind of keep this one moving. And we've just been so thankful for the people who have stuck with us. And our episodes are about an hour long, and people have seemingly enjoyed the content, and we're just thankful for that. But we also don't want to bore you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ray and I had the opportunity to sit down and play River of Gold. River
Yes.
of Gold is one of my recent favorites, and Ray hadn't played it yet. And I was like, oh my gosh, how have you
Imagine
not
that.
played this? No, well, I mean, it's a game I've talked about for a little while, and
Yeah.
I've wanted to get down to the table with you, and we hadn't done it, and it just never, I don't know,
Well,
all
there's
these
so many other games to be played, so
and that's how it is, right? And so Ray actually came. We had a game night on Saturday, and he showed up, and there's like a ton of games on the shelf, and I'm like, what do you want to play? He's like, River of Gold. Like, that's the whole point. So
Yes.
we sat down and played it, and I know I'm going to kick it over to Ray. I'm going to say, Ray, what is your thoughts? He's going to say, man, that game is super fun, because that's what we do. But that's the reality. So Ray, without saying the word fun, this is
Yes.
the caveat. Without saying the word fun,
Uh-huh.
can you tell me, first off, how much you enjoyed A River of Gold and the things that you liked about it? But let's see if you can not use the word fun. I'll try to not use it either, even though I've just said it a bunch of times. This will
like
be
it.
our challenge, to not use fun as a word to describe the game. On your mark, get set, go.
Well, Joe, I found River of Gold to be thoroughly entertaining. Okay. I had a great time playing it and
Yeah.
thought that it checked the box for me. It really was a
What
good
box?
time.
What box was that, Ray? Did it?
That was the excitement of enjoyment box, and
Oh, good.
it got a big check mark with a Sharpie.
If there was
No,
only
man.
another word that was smaller and shorter that might fit that description.
I can't think of any though, but yes, it was quite enjoyable. So once we got going, River of Gold, you said kind of jokingly that your wife referred to it as Asian Monopoly. And I was like, I love Monopoly, actually. Now, I know that might not be a popular opinion for people in this board game space,
Sure.
but that was my introduction. Like, thinking back onto it, I actually have been playing board games for quite some time, because playing Candyland and Sorry and those games, that's what, like, as a youngster, but Monopoly was my jam. So I was like, okay, if this is Asian Monopoly, I'm about to get in. Let's get to business. And so there are some similarities to it, outside of like purchasing essentially an area, if you want to think of it as your property, which you will get paid off of in resources and victory points, essentially. But I thought that it was really, really good. Yes, Joe. Yeah. 2 to 4 players, plays in 60 to 90 minutes. It's a midweight game. Designer is Keith Piggott. I hope I said that right. We were actually saying, maybe it was a French. I should have probably looked it up first, like Pigot. I don't know.
Keith, if you're listening, we'd like to apologize for
Yeah.
not being able to pronounce your last name.
And I would also like to thank you for listening, Keith. That's great. Tell your friends. So there's some dice rolling. You got multi-use cards, set collection, a lot of ways to gain victory points to this game. On the surface, it looked a little complex when you first set it up. There's a lot of moving pieces. Essentially, you're moving 2 ships that are owned by you down the river, and you're collecting resources along the way, and you're trying to gain favor. You're trying to fulfill contracts. You're trying to get victory points and amass these things. it was really really simple once you after you explained it, and I really liked the turn mechanism of you roll your dice after your turn. So there's three actions you can do. You can either spend your divine favor. Well, I'm sorry, that's maybe a
That's
little
not an
more
action.
advanced.
No,
That's
yeah,
not an
yeah,
action.
yeah,
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 that
yeah,
just
yeah.
changes your
You're
dice
good.
roll. Sorry, but you for your action, you either build like a settlement or you build up on a spot. You can sail your ship down the corresponding spaces that you rolled on your die, or you fulfill an order to your customers. And so really, really simple. And then when you're done doing whatever action it is, you roll your die so you already can plan on what your next turn is going to be. So
Yeah.
there's no downtime in the game. It was really enjoyable, Joe. Really
Ooh, I thought he was
enjoyable.
about to say it. Ooh, yeah, well done. Yeah,
Yeah.
hey, and good. Yeah, so like when I teach that game, I really talk about how everything kind of lives and dies on the die.
Uh-huh.
Because that's basically everything, right? You have numbers, you have the different colored areas with the kind of like the clan markers and all that kind of stuff, which is super sweet.
Yeah.
And so being able to pre-plan your turn, like you said, and if you have that divine favor, you can spend that to kind of mitigate your dice roll and move it up or down. And I also like the fact that you can go from 6 to 1 and 1 to 6, like how that, like it's nice how that
Yeah.
works.
That was neat.
And being able to go up and down the river, and when you're delivering to these customers and they start to give you kind of bonuses, so I can on these influence tracks, and there's just lots of ways to get points. Now the game is pretty swingy, right? Like I think you saw that
Yes.
where it's like during like the regular gameplay, you're getting points, but it's not like crazy amounts. And then all of a sudden end game hits and it's like bam, like the end game
Right.
points are insane. And so
Yep.
there's really like you might be like, oh, this person's over here, like they're smoking us early on in the game, but they maybe don't have certain strategies at play. And you can get bonuses on the influence tracks, and all of a sudden you're doing times 2 and you're getting these points. And so you can quickly turn some points in that game.
Absolutely.
And again, I love that part. I think where it just kind of keeps it interesting the whole time. You don't feel like I'm out of it. You're like, well, I mean, there's a chance.
Yep. Yep.
And then when you deliver to customers, like the amount of cards you deliver can get you bonus points. Like if you deliver to 6 or more customers, you can get 27 points. That's a big deal.
Yep.
Those multipliers, right? So if you deliver to an elder, you get to put a multiplier token on there. So the influence track, like if you come in and get any points on that, if you're first or second, or first, second, and third, depending on how it scores, because it kind of randomizes and there's different ways, you can multiply whatever score you're at. So if you're on a 12-point track and you have the elder and you get first place in that, that's 24 points. If you can do that on a couple of different tracks,
Man,
I
you're
mean,
gonna be
you're
out ahead.
right. Like you're doing super well. And so I kind of dig that. And I know, like, one time
Absolutely.
when I played early on with my wife, she's like, man, I thought I was toasting you, but she's like, you just worked this strategy, and she's like, you smoked us in the end, because nobody was paying attention to really what I was doing, because it's not like
Yep.
there's no like take that in the game. There's no like you're
No,
not
and
messing
there's
with
a lot going
anybody.
on. There's a
Yeah,
lot that you have to, as your individual player, have to keep track of. If you're trying to do
right,
contracts, are you trying to build? What your resources looking like, what you're limited to, what your die says to where you're
correct.
able to go in the region and move. And so there's a lot of strategy for the individual player to figure out what's going on rather than try to keep track of like what you're doing on your turn. And to your
Right.
point, I did exactly that. So in one region, nobody was building. So I moved up the favor track, and I knew I was going to have first place by the end of the game. So I worked really hard to get a elder in
Yeah.
that region to double up, and I got 24 points,
Yep.
which was huge.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, so good. And again, like I love the fact that the die, it's like when you're trying to deliver to a customer, you have to have the right, clan. Like you have to
Yeah.
have
Very
the right
limiting.
symbol.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so it's like, oh man, like it's one of those games where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm like one divine favor away. And then it's like, oh, okay, well you
Yes.
can pay 5 coins to pay that off. Oh, I have 4 coins, of course, It's like that kind of game where you're always like, I'm one number away, or I'm one thing away.
Yeah.
But I do love, like Monopoly, when you move and you land on a space, instead of paying rent, what's kind of cool is I get a bonus, and then whoever owns that building gets a bonus.
Yep. I was going to say the same thing. I really,
Super
really like
nice.
that. Yep.
Yeah, super nice. And again, I just think that provides some really cool things. Thematically, it's like, yeah, you have workers all around the river, so you can build anywhere, so long as you build in a region that matches your die symbol, right? And
Right.
so, lots of really fun dynamics and strategies. Like, oh, do I go aggressive out the gate? Like, And the way the players start, first player, second player, all the way down through the fourth player, the money value is different. So first player starts with 7, second 8, third 9, fourth 10. If you're the
Right.
fourth player, man, building right out the gate is not bad for you, right? Like that's a good strategy.
Which is I was the fourth player, and that's what happened. I had
Yep.
right out the gate I built, and my bonus as the owner of that property was I got um like one VP point every time somebody
Yeah.
landed. And it
Yeah.
was at the very beginning of the river. So essentially, yeah, because when you said Monopoly, I looked at the board like Monopoly. And so even to the point of where each space, it has a different value of what it costs because that's a higher landed on space, just like Monopoly, right? Like, you
Mm-hmm.
know, Tennessee Avenue probably comes out more than New
Right.
York or St. James Place. I played a lot of Monopoly, so I know the Virginias, the oranges, and the pinks are the ones you want to go for because they're
Yeah.
low. But then once you get your anyways, we're not
Houses
talking
and
about that game.
hotels and all that
Yeah.
jazz. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, I have more koku or money. Let me go ahead and buy this space because it's going to be landed on more. I got the special VP
Yeah.
point to gain, and it did it. It worked out well because a lot of you guys kept landing on that early on the game, which pushed me out ahead a little bit in the
Yep.
very beginning.
Yep.
So yeah,
Oh, absolutely. And if I remember correctly, you definitely dusted us. I don't know that it
yeah.
was super close.
I wasn't
Um,
going to say that, but yeah, I
yeah,
did.
no, I mean, this is a common theme. If you go through all of our episodes, you find out that Ray just dusts us.
It's
And that's
beginners
fine.
beginner's luck is the thing for me, and being that every single game I play is like my first time beginner, it just
It just
happens that
works.
way.
You just
So
win
yeah,
all the
it
time.
works
Yeah,
out. Yeah,
and I think the game is gorgeous. Like the components are insane.
very.
The
Yes,
River of Gold. I mean, on the board, it's just gold foil. It just looks beautiful.
it does.
The pieces, you get some chunky ships. They're really sweet. And then my wife and I really enjoyed the game, and so like I ended up finding like the koku, which is like the money. I found that on Etsy with like the gold, like with metal coins, and it just makes the game that much more like elevated. They're literally like identical
Yeah.
to the ones that came in, and I just found them on Etsy, and it was one of those. It's funny because when my wife like really into a game, she'll be like, "Yes, you can get the upgrade." Like in this one, she was like, "Buy the metal coins." I'm like, "Yeah, all right." Like
It's
that's cool.
amazing how something so simple like that, going from cardboard cutout to a metal coin upgrade, enhances the gameplay
Oh
that
yeah,
much. You know, I mean, it's
yeah,
something that you're handling over and over again, and just the feel of it. Like, yeah, you get used to the cardboard, like the porcelain, the silk, the rice. Those are all little cardboard cutouts. You know, there's not an upgrade metal for that or whatever. But like the metal coins themselves made it so much better for whatever reason. You
yeah.
know,
It's
dare
just
I say it even made it more fun, Joe.
yeah. Well, I think it's just because like one metal clinks around and that's always nice and it feels real. It feels like you're just kind
Right.
of engaged in that, especially in a game that's dealing with like purchasing and getting
Yeah.
these spots like the resources. It just brings it up just a
Yep.
little bit, right? And again,
Enhances for sure.
correct. And it's one of those games kind of going back to our previous episode that we play a lot. Like we get that on repeat. So it makes sense to get the upgrades.
Yeah.
I don't get deluxe versions of all of my games, right? Like the only reason why I have a deluxe version of Raiders of Scythia was because I found a super duper crazy good deal. And it also came with the 3D printed inserts and I got it for
Mm.
$51 with premium components, like everything, including this insanely cool
Mm.
insert. I don't do that on every game, right? Like
Right.
I'm not always like get every expansion or get a deluxe kind of thing. It depends. But if it's a game that we're going to play on repeat,
Right. It
like
makes sense.
right. So
Absolutely.
we had Wonderland's War, for a little while before when the deluxe kind of went back to Kickstarter, and then it was like, oh, we're gonna get that because we play it a lot. Right, like
Hmm.
that's a game we get to the table all the time. My wife and I both really enjoy it, and we want to bring people kind of into that. So we're like, these are the pieces we want to get because it makes sense. And so,
Yep.
River of Gold, that's one of those games that we play on repeat. We just taught it to my oldest, who's 9. We just taught it to him a little bit ago, literally a couple days after you and I played, or you played with us. There was others that played, but and he loved it, dude. He was like, man, we want to play this again. And so
Yeah.
just a lot of fun.
It's easy.
I said
Oh,
it. It was a lot of
you
fun.
said it.
It slipped out.
Fun. We need like the Pee Wee's
Yeah.
Playhouse, like all the things.
Fun! Like
Yeah,
the word of the day or whatever.
Word
yeah,
of the
yeah.
day.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, all the
naturally.
penguins in the freezer
Yeah.
start going crazy. The toilet starts lifting up. You
Yeah,
know?
because we have all those things. Ray, I think the diffuser juice is getting to your head a little bit. Yeah. All
Yeah.
of a sudden, Ray's like, my
Exactly.
plant is talking to me. Yeah, no, it's perfect. But
Yeah.
either way, it is a very enjoyable and excellently made game. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it. Everyone I played it with enjoys it. I have.
I'm
yet
buying
to-
it. I'm getting it now. That's
Yeah.
that's one of those games that I'm like absolutely going to play it. I know that my wife can play it. I'm not going to say that it resembles Monopoly in any shape or form because she hates Monopoly. So I'm not going to say that. I'm going to just say
Hey.
this is a very easy game that you can pick up and it'll be fun and we're going to enjoy it as a family and friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
perfect. Yeah, and she won't even know. Like Monopoly won't even cross her mind when you're
No.
playing that game.
No.
Like again, when my wife said it, I was like, yeah, I think there's something there, but I just
Yeah.
started cracking up.
Well, you build buildings, you collect resources from them, you essentially pass go at the end of the river and
Mhm.
start back over. And so, I mean, I can see where one might.
Yeah, and
Like,
it's a roll and move or
You-
has
you
that
roll-
ability.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I-
but
yeah,
it's so creative in how they use the die.
way more,
I mean,
way more
yeah.
strategy, super creative. Yeah, it's very
Yeah, dude.
far from
If
Monopoly.
Monopoly was that when it came out, oh my goodness, bro.
Yeah.
that was incredible.
Hasbro Bros will be legendary.
Legendary. I mean, they already kind of are. There's so many different versions of
they-
Monopoly.
They are. Yeah. Are
Um,
are
what's
they
that?
brothers like Hasbros?
No, I just think it's Hasbro.
Okay, all right.
Like again, man.
Told
Stop,
you I'm sleepy, man.
I was gonna
Sleepy.
say, yeah. Stop drinking the diffusion juice, man. You just keep telling me it's peppermint, but I ain't buying
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That's a thick cloud. So yeah. So, on another note,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, it was a great time. Glad we got it to the table.
Yeah, it was for sure.
And
for sure.
if you haven't played it, definitely want to encourage you to check it out. Whether you can play it at a convention or you can get a copy of it or your local game cafe, whatever. Worth to play.
Actually, the website has a really good how to play, easy setup explanation. It's about 11-minute video. So I think that this is a very easy game to get into. It's very accessible for somebody who maybe thinks like, oh, I'm not into big strategy games or like this is going to be too heavy for me. It's a mid-weight game. I would even say it's on the lighter end of the mid-weight and very, very accessible and very fun. So I think that anybody would be able to pick it up quickly. So if you're thinking about playing it, definitely do it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
Yeah. Like you said, it's got a lot of components. There's a lot going on, a lot to think through. But the core mechanic is pretty simple, and people can figure it out. So, yeah, awesome. So that's River of Gold. It kind of gets the seal of dopeness from us, and so it's a game I'm definitely going to continue to play. So thank you so much for listening to this episode. I just want to take a brief moment here to discuss my new book, Reclaiming the Table for Jesus. See, I believe that our homes are ministry vehicles, and our tables and our board games are tools that can be used to reach people for Christ. See, when we open up our homes, when we do life with each other, this can be used in both discipleship and evangelism. We can grow together in Christ, but also as we invite people in who don't know Jesus, they can begin to see us live our life, relationships begin to form, trust is built, and then, Lord willing, we have this opportunity to proclaim the good news of Christ as we get to be the hands and feet of Jesus in these scenarios. It's not about perfection, it's not about performance, it's about presence, and that we would use our homes in such a way. So again, Reclaiming the Table for Jesus is my first book. It's out now. I pray that it's a blessing. It's a quick read. It's intended to be read, digested, and applied. You can find it on Amazon in paperback and in Kindle format. But again, just really excited about what God's doing in this space, and I can't wait to see how he uses games in your home to reach people for Jesus. You can find it on Amazon. Appreciate you. Now back to the episode. Peace. With that, actually, like I mentioned in the beginning there, we want to kind of talk through table testimony a little bit here, and sort of Ray's going to share a bit of a story. We'll talk through it a little bit about why this even came about, like why we want to do this, and kind of what was driving that. And so and again, I think I just loved hearing even your heart, Ray, when you had this idea, when it was like, hey, what about this? And we started talking through it. It's like, man, what an encouragement to be able to
Mm,
have, stories communicate a lot, right? And so
yep.
when people hear like there's other people that are using gaming in this way, or how gaming is drawing them in and deeper in their relationship with Christ, I think it's a fantastic thing, right? Like there's power in testimony. And
Yes.
so we want people to really be able to hear it. But I think how this even came about, Ray, if you do us so kindly to share the story,
Yeah.
I think it'd be worth going into that.
Y- Yeah, absolutely. So, we went to Revive Fest last year, which is where's Revive Fest at? Remind me. We were
Leonidas, which is the funniest.
Yeah.
Like you look at it, you're like Leonidas. Like what is it? It's
Yeah, I thought it was
Leonidas,
Leonidas. Like
Leonidas,
yeah,
Michigan,
yeah,
on the
that's right.
Engedi campgrounds.
Leonidas. Yeah, it's a big
Yeah.
festival actually, right?
Yeah, it's getting bigger every year. I mean, I've been a part of it in some way pretty much since the beginning. I think I've only really missed 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
I did it with some music stuff. I used to run their second stage. And then we were actually there because they asked if we would run a workshop on discipleship and evangelism through board games.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's exactly what we would want to do is that. And then
Yeah.
they also said, hey, not only that, and this is the crazy part, I'm going to set the stage here and then Ray's going to take it. They said, hey, run this workshop, which we didn't know if anyone was going to show up, right? Run this workshop, and if you guys would set up a tent and bring games and play games with people throughout the day. And I am like, bro, this is a music festival. Nobody is going to come to a workshop on discipleship and evangelism through board games. We were wrong because people did show up. And not
Yeah.
only that is we had one group that missed it, and there was like 20 people, and they were so
Yeah.
bummed that they missed it because they went to the wrong place. And they
Yep.
were like, and I was like, what are you talking about? Which is crazy, right? So we had people there, and people played games with us all day.
The whole
All
time.
day, the whole
The whole
time. It
the
was
whole time.
fantastic, bro. Like it was the
Yep.
craziest thing. I'm like, there are people performing on the stage. People paid to be at this music festival, and they're like, we're gonna be chilling here at the game table.
Man, dude, we had some great fellowship. Great fellowship. We had
Yeah,
people praying for Kim and I, my wife and I, because of the things that we were going through in our family planning. We
yeah,
had people that we met, and that's kind of where the story picks up, right? Is
yep,
so we had these people coming and sitting down at the table with us and playing games with us all day and just fellowshipping, meeting all kind of people. It was fantastic. And so this is right ahead of the time that the first game changer board gaming retreat was going to happen in Luther, Michigan, who at Camp Living Waters, who was one of our sponsors. And just throw that little plug in there.
keep it going. Yeah,
Yeah, I got a frog in my throat, man. But so yeah, we're meeting people and we're plugging the game changer as well and the podcast and everything, all everything that we're doing. And there were a couple, two couples actually that came to the board game changer retreat. I'm just gonna say the game changer retreat.
there you
It's
go.
getting lengthy.
Perfect. That's
Yeah,
the way to say it.
yeah. So, anyways, there were two separate couples that came to the game changer retreat from being at Revive Fest and sitting down playing games with us, which was
Yeah,
fantastic, amazing.
yeah.
And so one of them happened to be from Kalamazoo, and I got to meet him. I didn't get consent from him and his permission to use his name, so I'm not going to share his name at this point. But
Yeah.
maybe in a later episode, we can even have him come on and just tell the testimony for himself. But he came, brought a bunch of friends and coworkers and family, had a great time. It was amazing. That game changer retreat was so fantastic, and I encourage anybody who's thinking about going check it out because there is one coming up. I'm sure that we're going to plug here at some point.
We
But
already
then,
did, but that's all right.
yeah,
Yeah, in the
okay,
beginning of the
yeah.
episode, you're good. Hey,
If
it's
you
cool.
hit
Welcome to the
rewind,
show,
then
man.
it was
It's
so
September 19th through the 21st.
so fast forward to like a couple weeks later after Game Changer retreat, I'm home and I get a message from this young man, and he's like, "Hey man, I would like to get together with coffee with you." And I was like, "Okay, great, yeah, let's go." So we go to the coffee shop. We're just chatting, and he's like, "I just wanted to tell you guys, thank you, like thank you
Mm,
for what you're doing." And I was like, "Okay." And so he tells me the story about him and his wife, and he's going through almost like a little bit of identity crisis. Where does he fit in? What are his hobbies? How does he connect with people? And what are the things that he likes to do? And they're going down the list of things that he likes to do, and then board games comes up. And then So that was right ahead of Revive Fest, which led them to go to Revive Fest. And then at Revive Fest, that's where he met us and then heard about the Game Changer retreat. And then comes to the Game Changer retreat, brings a bunch of friends, has a great time fellowshipping, being in God's presence, meeting other people that are like him, and then found his community. So he told me this story. His testimony was like he felt lost, but then realized that board games were a way for him to connect with other community, and then saw that there were other people there as well. And I just thought, wow, this is so powerful, man. This is like a true testimony of what God is doing in this space. And he was just like really came to say thank you for what we were doing, and opening up and just moving in this space. And I was like, wow. And so that's where the basis of the idea came from. For if there's one story like this, there's got to be many more stories, right? There are testimonies out there that it is helpful for people to find a community, people that felt like they didn't belong, they didn't have anywhere, they were just kind of in the wind, and then to see that there are other people who are just like them, who have the same hobby that they can fellowship with, can meet and love God, and are on mission, And so that's where this was birthed from. And so that's why we're very excited about other people, you guys, hitting us up on that CBG loot drop at Gmail and telling us your testimonies. Like Joe said, even if it's short lived, we still want to hear, because they are powerful, and it's very encouraging, not only to us, but other people who are walking this out with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And no, it's crazy because when they showed up, like where we were positioned was kind of even by like the entrance in some way, right? So like people are walking and like we're on the side, and you have all the food trucks behind us, which is kind of fun. Food trucks were all behind us. We're kind of by the entrance, and then like the stage kind of off to our left. And I think he and his wife like walked in, and I don't even know that they made it like even into the actual field. They
Right.
just stopped and were like, "What is this?" And they stopped, and then they were there, and they just kept. I think they were playing Planted. They played that a couple of times because we brought
Yep.
some pretty like light. We didn't bring a ton of heavy strategy, but we brought some. But like they sat down, they played Planted. We started having this conversation. Ray connects. I just love this because if you follow that again, like the line that you had there was, he's having this thought of like, where do I fit in? Goes to Revive Fest. Was already thinking about board games. Bam, we're there. Total God thing. Having a conversation. Comes to Game Changer. And then I love this though. This is how this transcends it. Hey, let's go get some coffee. Let's just go sit down because he wanted to thank you, but like also like what a great connection point, right? Like isn't that what this is about? Right? Like
Right.
we play games together and we hope to be able to impact people, right?
Yep.
Like that's not just Ray and I. Like again, we're at this Revive Fest thinking like nobody's gonna even engage with us because who wants to play board games at a music festival? Turns out a lot of people, right?
Right.
But
Yep.
it's like, but you go through that process and it's like, wow, there's a lot going on here. Like that was a God thing within itself. And then I think
Yep.
about God's sovereignty, where if we're not there and he still goes to Revive Fest, he walks right past that little entrance thing and goes right into the field. Now, again, God
Mm.
could use the music and all sorts of stuff. Doesn't need us, but look at like that whole thing where it's like, bam, we're just here. And then
Yep.
that's set up in the most unusual place, right? Where it's
Yep.
just like, okay. But I mean, I went back and did the same workshop again this year, right? This what was it? The end of July,
Yep.
and again this time though, like we had a pretty good amount of people. I mean, it was let's say full house. It's a small room, but I think we were at like 15 to 20 people in that room. You'd feel that.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, and that was amazing to me. It was like new people. And actually what was even crazier is that while I'm there, there's one of the students from one of the board game, like we went in, we had a Christian school out here that asked if I'd come and run a game day and then talk to them about using games as mission and all that. I'm not sure if I've talked about it. I talked about it in previous seasons, but one of those students was at the festival and then came to the workshop.
Mm.
And I was like, man, she looks really familiar. And then I walked up and she's like, yeah, do you remember me? I was at, the such and such school. I'm like, oh my goodness. And she's like, yeah, you guys taught me harmonies. And now I go out and I got harmonies and I've been teaching it to people. And I'm like,
So
but she's,
cool.
yeah, like and her and my wife had connected, right? Like Stephanie had taught her harmonies and they were going through this. But then she comes to this workshop I'm like, this is like a 7th or 8th grader who's like, yeah, I want to use board games to reach people for Jesus.
Wow.
And I'm just like, dude, how cool, right? Like that's a testimony,
Yep.
right? But again, with this young man, like, and like you said, he brought friends to the Game Changer, which turns out I knew one of his buddies, which was kind of cool. I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in like 10 years, you know,
Yeah.
what all this stuff. But it's like the positioning and how God is at work and God is using the hobby. I just think it's super cool, man. And so when he
Amazing.
called you out to go and grab coffee, that creates genuine connection.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I no, I was gonna say, yeah, it was encouraging for me to hear
Heck
that, to
yeah,
know like the things that we're doing actually has impact, and that God
yeah,
is moving, and that it would impact somebody to that level, that they found a community and they found fellowship, and they felt like it's almost like you found your identity out, within Christ, of course, but then
hmm
of the enjoyments that He put in your heart to be around other people like minded, that you can feel welcomed and you can feel loved and you can feel connected to the body in a different way.
yeah.
And yeah, I actually think that they ended up coming to, it was before the Game Changer retreat. We had a game night at the center, at the youth center, for one of our game nights, and they were there. Or maybe it was after. It was one or the other, because I know that they ended up coming there as well.
Man, it's possible.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
don't. Yeah, and there was one or two that you ran that maybe I wasn't at. So yeah,
Hmm.
but yeah,
Yeah.
I don't remember that part. But either way, wouldn't surprise me. But it's like you go through that process, and again, everything's just about connection. Everything's
Hmm.
about just setting the stage and being hospitable. And again, these game changer retreats, I am really excited about what God's doing, and Lord willing, we can get these in other regions and areas, because I just think there's a lot of room for it, man. And so just being able to have that time, because again, there's the fellowship through gaming, but there's also the fellowship through worship, both
Yes.
both in singing out our praises and being in the Word and
Yeah.
prayer, and so it's needed, man. And that's kind of our little segue here. Then we can divert. But again, if you have a testimony, we want to hear it. cbglootdrop@gmail.com. Share it, man.
Yes,
Can't
please,
we
please,
we got to
please.
think that there's more people out there that are experiencing moves of God in this. I mean, we've seen it. We've gotten some, so it's like we know it's there. So just
Hmm.
send it our way. We'd love to share what's going on. And again, like we've said, even on episode 1, like if you got a powerful story, man, we'd love to have people on here and be able to share that personally. So
Yep.
super cool. But Ray pitched an idea to me for this podcast episode, and I was like, man, Ray, this one feels a little personal. This one feels a little tight here, a little personal, but I think he's got a really good point. And if you don't know anything about this show, I'm just the mouth, right? Ray is the ideas guy, man. Ray brings the heat. Um, and so as we go through the process and kind of just work through like what we're going to talk about, and trying to link and connect board games with faith, right? Like you're going to find yourself in some spaces that maybe are uncomfortable. I mean,
Mm,
last episode we're talking about repetition rather than being so soaked into the cult of the new that you have to have the newest thing. Like it's okay to keep your collection small and just play the games you love and enjoy, as it's okay to just be in a certain section of scripture for a prolonged period of time, because that's where God has you, where you don't have
mhm.
to just check a box and read everything, where you can just meditate on God's word and that joy of repetition and how that just builds in. And there's just something to that you know a game so well that you don't need a rule book, and that you just love to play it and you could teach it and you just really enjoy it, in the same way that you know a section of scripture so well that you don't even have to crack the Bible open because it's so on your heart because you've meditated on it so much. Um, that's a hard topic to talk through sometimes, because we always want to run into that next thing, as we discussed, and this topic here, which I'm kind of burying the lead, as they would say, a little bit here, and it's intentional, is one of those, like, man, it kind of hits you in the feels a little bit, and it just has some merit, has some weight, no pun intended. Pun totally intended. But in this, like, really looking at, man, like caring for ourselves
Mhm.
as the temple of God, and caring for our bodies, and how in board gaming, Board gaming is oftentimes synonymous with fooding,
Hmm.
whether that's just lots of snacks or just pizza or whatever, and then really we're sitting down at a table. I mean, that's
Hmm.
that's what it is. And this isn't to. We really want to like lay out this disclaimer. This is not to shame anyone, not to do any of that. Because Ray and I were talking. I said, "Man, Ray, this is a little tough." I was like, "Because I'm on a weight loss journey, in my own right, and every time I sit down to play board games, I just want a snack, and that doesn't always mean healthy things, generally, right? Like I want the chips and the stuff. I like to snack, and anytime you have game nights, it's like people bring the snacks or the food or whatever, and I'm like, man, like I struggle in this area, and if you can see on on YouTube, it's like I'm a little bit bigger than Ray in some ways. Ray's much more muscular, but
Thank you,
Ray's
Joe. That's
yeah,
nice
yeah.
of you.
Ray's fit. I mean, I could totally take him in a fight, but Ray's fit. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think that's true at all.
That would
And
never happen.
no, it wouldn't happen. But if it did, no, I'm just kidding. But like, and it's totally not true. I would be so gassed that I would be like, I'm out. Ray would be like, all I have to do is last longer than this guy. It's fine. But it's like, just this idea. I'm like, man, like, Ray, like you're running 5Ks and eventually 100 bazillion Ks, and I'm running my mouth. So like, just this idea of like, man, like this is a good conversation for us to have,
Yeah.
as I'm experiencing kind of my own thought and my own process in this too. And so,
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop talking and kick it over to you.
So, me listening to all my podcasts and health journey and everything, just trying to be healthy. Being again, board game space is a little bit newer to me. The culture is something newer. I'm finding myself in more and more. And listen to a podcast recently, kind of a health and wellness podcast. There's a gentleman on there, a doctor, who is coming out with a book called the Biblio Diet, and basically he had cancer. And he healed himself with cancer. Very amazing story. If you guys care to listen to it at some point, but he went through the Bible, and basically his thought process was, if God gave us the instructions how to live our life in entirety, why wouldn't he give us the instructions on the diet? And he said something in this uh episode that just kind of struck me, and it was like, shouldn't we as a church be the healthiest people
Mm.
in the world, because we're to look different than the rest of the world? And I was like, wow, that's an interesting thought, and that's what propelled this conversation. And then this, well, as the time of this episode dropping, we will have gone to Grand Con. And in getting ready for Grand Con, we were talking about snacks and what we're bringing. I'm kind of listening to what's on that list and just thinking through it, and I think that it's just a conversation to be had. And so scripturally, if we look at Old Testament, let's start in the beginning. God did
Sure.
give he did give a dietary plan to the Hebrews for good reason. I mean, it was kosher and it was unclean and it was all laws of cleanliness, and there was a Levitical law on these things. And yes, we're not under that same law anymore. But scientifically, if we look at these animals that he said do not eat, they do have higher health risks. They do carry more health implications and are a little bit less healthy than some other choices that he said that we could eat, right? So I think that there's some wisdom in listening to that. And I'm not saying we can't eat pork, because that's on
Hmm.
the kosher list and it's
Sure.
it's unclean and this and that, but maybe in moderation, right? And so everything that we're talking about here, I think, is just to bring a little bit of awareness, provoke some thoughts, and just
Yeah.
to say like, hey, let's take inventory of what we're doing, and maybe think about it. But yeah, just weaving that thread between board games and the Bible and sitting down, I think that we do have a duty to be mindful of what we're putting in our bodies.
Yeah.
Now, of course, Jesus in Matthew 15:11 said it's not what goes into a person that defiles them, but what comes out of them. And so we're not saying like this is wrong, although greed, I do think, is wrong. So if you're like hogging all the peanut M&Ms, maybe you might want to repent. But no, I'm just joking. I'm just joking about that. But
Repent.
but Paul does tell us in Romans, like he says, hey, I urge you that to make your bodies a living sacrifice. I mean,
Yeah.
and so maybe there's some other context to what he's talking about, but I think in its entirety, it's worth thinking about, like, are we wholly devoted to God, mind, body, and spirit, like body included in that, right? Like,
Hmm.
are we just disregarding this part of living our life in dedication to God because we're saying, oh, we're okay, you know? I mean, there are health implications at risk here, and
Hmm.
how do we look to the rest of the world, you know? 1 Corinthians 19 also says your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit, you know, where you started at. And so if we think about our bodies being the temple, man, the temple was something to behold. It was
Yep.
something of glory. It was something that said that my God is here and he is great. And if we really, really have reverence for God and think about that and believe that we are the temple of God now and the Holy Spirit resides in us, shouldn't we at least make an attempt to have some reverence on how we treat ourselves and our body and how we appear as the temple of God? And I think that there are some measures. Now, again, I'm not saying just because I'm over here skinny and my genetics are different than somebody else, everybody is going to have a six pack and needs to go run a 5K. But what I am advocating is that maybe we think about, you know, the snacks at the table for a game night. Pizza, yeah, let's have some pizza, but let's also maybe like have some celery sticks and carrot sticks
Yeah.
for those who care. Or maybe just have two slices of pizza instead of everybody bring their own box. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
just some simple things just to get the conversation and look at it
Yeah.
versus, and again, not condemning anybody, not saying anybody, you know, is a terrible person for enjoying life and eating and having good time fellowshipping, because there is something that comes along with food and fellowship. Jesus did it with his disciples. He
Yeah.
he broke bread with them, right? So there's that component there, but just using some wisdom in what we're putting in our bodies, I think, is the topic at hand, right?
Yeah. Well, and there's so much to that, right? So believe it or not, I may not necessarily look it, right? I might not look the part, but I actually have done a lot of study in the area of nutrition and
Mm,
nutritional science. I
mm-hmm.
mean, I was the only one that I was like, oh man, I'm back in school, like doing some college classes. I'm gonna take a nutritional science class because it fascinates me and how
Yeah.
the body works and just how like your body might process things differently than my body. And so like I've studied the blood type diet. We've looked at the just how your blood type affects what you should or shouldn't eat necessarily. Bright line eating deals with sugars and flours, written by a brain surgeon, and she had weight problems, and then she started studying the effects of sugar and flour and refined in those refined states, and her findings were insane. And we all know
Yeah.
this, how
Yes.
sugar and flour affect the dopamine levels,
Yep.
and how they just hit that and they create that addictive cycle. And this is what I get stuck in. My biggest
Mm,
issues are going to come from refined flours and sugars. Now, I don't do as bad when I have like non-GMO and organic flours. Those I'm not so bad on, right? Like there's a difference in that. But anytime I have enriched flours, no bueno. And if I just have pure up like just straight processed candy junk sugar, like it's going to affect me
yeah.
big time. But I get stuck in those cycles, right? So that's a part of my issue. Um, but even when you go through it, it's like, I mean, I've researched what keto, paleo. I was writing all these down: carnivore, vegan, just a straight vegetarian. Right. Again, when I actually eat more towards my blood type diet, I thrive a little bit more. When I pull out refined flours and sugars, my body will drop weight quickly, and I will have higher energy levels and will thrive. Right. There's
Yep.
no question those things are real. When I up my water intake, when I up my movement, when I fast,
Right.
right? Like these things are all like fasting is both spiritual and physical
Absolutely.
in general, and it's tough. Like I intermittent fast generally anyway, but when I like fast like and you start doing those kind of things, man, like your body begins to actually repair. There's a lot of science behind this. This is
Yeah.
how God's designed us, right? There's no question. um,
Absolutely.
but we don't live in a world that necessarily, let's say in the United States, that pushes God's agenda, right? So it's like everything, not everything, maybe a broad statement, but there are a lot of um, things that we're just accustomed to,
Yep.
right? That make that so difficult to get out of that habit. But again, like I said in the beginning, like in board gaming, like we're eating and just sitting. It's not like,
Mm.
most people don't play board games on treadmills and that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I
Right.
don't. But it's something to consider. Like, okay, this is the hobby. I love this. I want to play, this way, but simultaneously I do want to honor God, and I want to honor God with my body. And I do think meals are very important in fellowship. That's why I don't even say like bread's bad, man. I mean, Jesus is the bread of life, bro, and Jesus ate bread. Like, I
Right.
just think that a lot of the breads that we have are bad.
It's
Um,
different. It's yes.
it's different, right?
Yes.
And this is why my wife is big on. She has some really great sourdough, and she makes this. Doesn't affect me like other bread, right? Like just different stuff. We use organic flours, or we just
Yep.
non-enriched, like those kind of things. Finding those ways to get around it. Heavy protein, blah blah blah. But again, like I said, like I struggle here, and I associate a lot of times like, oh, it's board game night, bro. That's when the Twizzlers are coming out. That's when the popcorn's hitting the table. That's when the pretzels and the chocolate and you name it, bro. It's like
Yeah.
whatever people bring, the dips, all of it, and there is something about that is enjoyable.
Yep.
My problem and where I struggle, and this is going to get back to spiritual, is self control.
Yep.
Right, like
Yep.
you said, have two slices of pizza instead of everyone bringing a box. And I'm thinking, like, well, uh, two slices of pizza probably ain't going. That's going to be an appetizer, right? Um,
Right.
but again, there's something to that, right? Like that is self control,
Absolutely.
and
One of the fruits of the spirit is
right,
self-control, right?
right. And I think that fits in this. It fits in to our board game collections, right? As you look at this wall behind me, I had to literally, like, we talked about it, just being like, man, I cannot do this. Like, I don't want to be spending so much money on games that I'm not being a good steward of the finances, right?
Yep.
Same thing with my body. I can't allow, like, I look at my kids, man, and I'm like, dude, I want to be here for them. I want to
Yes.
have the energy for them, right? Like this is what drives me even to be like, I have to stop. I have to fight it. I have to say no when my body says feed me,
Yep.
right? And that is discipline. And it is hard. Like,
Absolutely.
that's where I'll sit on that side of the fence where I'm like, man, like I know the things I need to do. I know the things I want to do. But kind of like Paul, why do I do the things that I hate and I don't do the things I want to do?
Yep.
Right? And again, we live in a culture that like, I mean, drugs are bad, okay, right? We know that, but like we're not sitting here like, P.S. The food we're eating is worse.
Is worse.
I
And
mean, well,
yeah,
maybe
it's
not worse, but bad news.
they're
Like,
just as bad. I mean, you talking about refined sugars, and
yeah,
you hit on it, like the addiction, the dopamine that comes along with that. So you
hmm,
want another hit. It's no different in that
right,
addiction, and we should not be ruled by anything but Christ and love, right? And so,
yeah,
like, if we find that we have that issue with these things, if we find that we can't say no, maybe there's something deeper that you need to look at to say, I need that self control, because there is a real addiction there.
yep,
I
oh
mean
yeah,
that's what sugar and candy is made for and targeted to hit those dopamine receptors to cause that addiction so that you keep coming back. And it's not healthy. You're getting no benefit from it, and it's
no,
creating more disease. I mean, sugar in particular, which is what I wanted to say about the candies and the
yeah,
sweets and all that stuff that because sugar is in everything, keeps you coming back. I work in healthcare. It
yeah,
causes so many problems. I see it firsthand in heart conditions and the coronary arteries and the vasculature of people from diabetes and people that have high blood sugars. And I mean, it really does tear your body down. And so if you find that you are unable to sit down and not at a game night and not eat a whole bag of cookies or sleeve or whatever it is, I mean, like, maybe there's some things that you need to pray about and ask God to
yeah,
help you on, because I don't think that that's good and healthy, even just from a health standpoint, let alone a spiritual and
yeah.
component of honoring God.
I absolutely know, man. Yeah, because something for me that I've wrestled with is that food can affect my mind. Food can
Mm,
affect my attitude, and that to me is when I have to start asking the idolatry question.
man, yes.
Right? Like this is hard. Like, and again, this is why I think Ray and I wanted to frame this conversation, because we are like, you're going to talk to me who's struggling. Not that Ray doesn't have his own struggles.
Oh, I definitely struggle
Right.
with sugar. Like
Right.
I
No,
don't I
I
don't look
know.
like it, but man,
Yep.
I can't
Yep.
be around cupcakes and cookies and baked goods because I go
Right.
ham. It's like my self control is weak too. Believe me.
I love how you use the food reference in that. You said I go ham. All right. Well,
Yeah,
I mean
purposeful.
ham might be the better choice in some cases. I don't know. But again, it's like we recognizing that struggle is real. But really wanting to bring that before the Lord, right? Like again,
Mm,
you just said like I won't be like mastered by anything. Like Paul talks about this idea, and it's going to get real deep. But in Romans 6, where beating your flesh into submission, where you're not going to give in to this temptation, but
yep,
you're going to honor Christ with your life, right?
yep.
That you're gonna move forward in that, and basically, I mean, he's really dealing with sin, and when you look at it, that's why I'm saying like it can. Food, I think, has the real ability, or at least let me just speak for Joe, to get into that idolatry space. And now, what am I doing? I am sinning, right? Like I am actively a participant in that, where I'm like, okay, yeah, I know I shouldn't be doing this. I know I should be making these changes. I'm not.
Hmm.
And again, I think there's something to that, right? And what God calls you, and there'll be natural consequences. And I think about those things. I'm like, man, like, I praise God that even though like I have some of these issues and my weight has ebbed and flowed, that I'm relatively healthy, but I also have all these sinus issues, and I know they're associated to the flours and the sugars and those kind
Yep,
of things.
yep.
Um, there's no question in my mind, and so as you go through this process, I think our challenge to me and to us and to y'all is that we at least consider these things, because at the end of the day, we're writing checks to some degree, right? And
Hmm.
and checks come due,
Yep.
and so it's like, dude, like I want to be able to play board games until I'm 90 or
Right.
100, right? And be
Yep.
sharp as a whistle and play with my kids and my grandkids.
Yep.
I don't want to be the dad that tells my kids I'm too tired to play. And I've said that because I'm grinding and I'm like, guys, I am exhausted. But I also know it's because I ate poorly and I'm grinding.
Hmm.
And so when you get home, your body's like, hey, you're safe now. You can shut down. No, no matter how tired I am, I got to engage my kids, right? And
Right. Yep.
it's hard, right? It's
Yep.
hard. It's harder. But when I mean, like I tell you, it's night and day. Most people think I'm a high energy guy, and then they experience Joe when Joe's been not like when I've been literally fasting from sugar and flour. Then people are like, "Holy smokes, bro!
Whole
Like, what
nother
are you?
level.
Yeah, bro. Like, what are you on?" And I'm like, "Life, bro. Like, this is what it's
Yes.
supposed. This is what it's supposed to feel
The
like."
abundant life. Yes.
Right. Like this
Yes.
is what it's supposed to be, and I know it, and I hate it when I don't do it.
It's hard. It's difficult, and this is the wildly crazy fascinating thing about this as we talk about food, because food in itself is not a sin. You just talked about that.
Yeah.
We need to eat.
Yeah.
The stomach was made for food and food for the stomach, and they talk about food all the way through, and God's going to destroy
Yeah.
him, and like we need food, right? We need it to
Hmm.
sustain ourselves. But the enemy is so crafty in his deception and what he's done, and how he'll sneak in wherever he can. Because if we talk about pornography,
Right.
this wouldn't even be a debate. It would be like, dude, that that's wrong. And even looking at a little bit, like, and having self-control. And every time that you sit down to play a board game, you have your phone up and you look. Or if you have a drinking problem and you go out to socialize, like let's use that as an example, because like in those
Right.
settings, like it's a party setting and you're gathering with, and so you have no problem. Like, this is what you do. When I go out, I have a couple drinks with my friends, and then you end up with a drink, and then you like recognize and look back and say, oh man, maybe I shouldn't be doing that. But with food, it's different, because it's like, hey, this is what we do. This is part of the culture. But
Right.
is it okay? You know what I mean? And the enemy, going back to the foods not being what they should be, and being full of additives and addictive things and things
Yep.
that are spiking your dopamine and blood pressure and then causing you to drop and causing you to come back and craving it.
Yeah.
I mean, because look at other countries. Really, it's interesting that as Christians, we are in the world, but we're not to look like the rest of the world. But if we look at the rest of the rest of the world has thousands of food that they don't allow in their country. So therefore, they can eat bread all day and they don't gain a pound because they don't have all the additives. But here in the U.S., there's a whole nother deeper thing that I'm very passionate about. But
all of a sudden, we just turned into the X-Files podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
But I'm just saying, let's be mindful because yes, it does take a little bit more to make the healthy choice. Yes, it does take a little bit more to be conscious about it. But that's what we should be doing in our Christian walk through everything. Are we just going to go to the movies and watch a movie because it's the hot movie and everybody's talking about it and we feel left out? And it's the easy thing to do to be in that conversation. Are we just going to go to the bar because that's what everybody's doing and we don't want to be left out? And it's the easy thing to do. As Christians, we have to make the tough choices to honor God. That's what we do in the rest of our life and everything. So why won't we do that when it comes to eating? Why is that so tough? Because it takes time and effort, and you have to go out of your way. You can't just stop by the supermarket and grab the quick thing off there, the already made meal, and go stop by and fast food. You actually have to work. But that's what God intended. Like that. That's how we're supposed to do to be healthy. We do it in every other area of our life. So why not when it comes to our diet? Why do we just throw it out the window?
Well, I think some of that boils down to addiction. Like, so for me, like, and I've shared my story on this podcast in earlier seasons. But food became my new drug, right? Like I stopped doing drugs. Food became my thing. I lived across the street from a Taco Bell. Now, mind you, I came from Boston where I'm walking everywhere. I didn't have a car. I walked all over the city. I moved to Michigan at 180 pounds. 180 pounds, bro. Skinny Joe, bro.
Wow.
180 pounds. Yep. I look at old photos.
I'm not saying wow, like, oh my gosh, I don't believe it can happen. I'm just like that. Yeah. Okay.
I moved to Michigan 180 pounds. And I stayed that way for a little bit, but then I got the desk job.
Yep.
I live across the street from a Taco Bell. I'm now establishing those rhythms while I'm doing the drugs, right? I end up coming to Christ. And then I already had those rhythms. I'm now at a desk job. I'm sitting down. I'm driving everywhere. I'm not walking.
Yep.
And now I've come to Christ. I'm not doing drugs. So now I had more money. That money went into like food. Food became my comfort. Food became my drug because I was from Massachusetts, moved to Michigan. I was still establishing myself, lots of things. I went from 180 pounds to 265. I went home and everybody was like, like, where's Joe? Like, did you eat him? Like, what happened, right? And my family's like, bro, you got fat. Like, and that's hard to hear, right? Who wants to hear that? Nobody.
Yep.
And then I have been struggling ever since. And so I've gone from like 265. The lowest I've been since then is 225. And now I'm back up in that 250 range. And I'm like, I just don't want to be there, man. That's not where I want to be. But I have ebbed and flowed. I moved out here in 2005. Let's say maybe, and I came to Christ in 2008. So it was around that time when I like kind of ballooned. It was 2008, 2009, 2010, right? So let's say for the last 15 years, just for numbers' sake, 15 years of just ebbing and flowing in my weight and struggling. And it's been tough. And then it's like, and psychologically, it's like, oh, cool, I lost some weight. That means I can eat a little bit more.
Right.
That kind of stuff, bro. And then I think about this because I've been doing a lot of study on finance lately and business. And it's like, no, the idea is when you get more, or let's say when you lose weight, the idea is not to change your habits. Right? Like, but we change your habits. Oh, I made some more money, so now I can go do this thing. Versus being like, nah, bro, I made this extra money, so now I need to continue to live the way I was living, so that I can invest this extra money, or I can pay off this debt, or whatever the thing is. And now I'm aggressively attacking
Continue to increase. Yes.
Same thing with losing weight, bro. If I've lost that weight, instead of being like, oh, cool, I'm at 230, I have freedom. Nah, bro, like you do have freedom in that, but at the same time, it's like you got to be careful with those habits, and you got to keep doing the things that got you down to the 230 so that you can get down to your 220 or whatever your
Exactly.
ideal is. Like I would like to, my goal, and y'all can hold me accountable to this. Like you can, the listening audience, bro, I don't even care. Like you see me at a convention, you'd be like, bro, you have a goal. I do not care. I will respect you for that.
Mm.
And so if you're hearing the sound of my voice,
Love
bro,
and truth.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, like my goal is to get down to 200 pounds. I'd like to lose 50 pounds. That's my goal. Right. And so I'm down 4.6 pounds,
Let's
which is
go.
cool. Right. It's good. It's
Got
the
to
direction
start
I'm
somewhere,
heading.
bro. Got
Yeah.
to start somewhere.
Right. No doubt. And so I started this journey at 259. Right. Just full transparency, bro. Y'all now know. I started the journey at 259, and my hope is to get down to 200. So again, it's more like 60 pounds. But if I was at a 210, I would not cry about that. I'd be feeling pretty good. But again, hold me to it, because I'm not going to get there on my own. This is that fellowship. This is that connection. This is all
Hmm.
of that, right? And just knowing that all of it plays in. And so when I'm not playing board games, what am I doing? And when I am playing board games, what am I doing? And I think all
Yep.
these things kind of matter
Yep.
in full. And so, when like I said, when you came with the topic, I was like, oh, dang, bro, like that's it's something I need anyway. But
Mm.
it's personal, because this
Mm.
is, I want to honor God with my body,
Yep. Me too.
right? Like
Me too.
I want to do that. Like that is something I want to do, and I am like, Lord, forgive me, because I am not doing that, and I
Yep.
never did it. Right? Like I said, man, I drugs, alcohol, sexual immorality, the whole nines, and then I come to Christ, and I'm like, well, I'm not doing drugs anymore. Let me eat another Crunchwrap Supreme and a cheesy gordita crunch for the 15th time today, and
Right.
I'm fine, dude. I'm fine. All of a sudden, you're not fine anymore, and it's like,
Yep.
dang it, bro, I got the same dang
Man.
problem,
Yep.
and and you go through that stuff, so.
Yep.
Man, we're a
Yep.
little over an hour, but you have a
Yeah.
thought, so hit it.
Yeah, I do actually. I want to two things. I want to say two things. One, I kind of mentioned a little bit as somebody who is maybe somebody might look at and think maybe a little bit more fit. I still struggle with weight management. I still struggle when I eat sugars that I can feel the effects on my body. I can
Hmm.
feel the inflammation when I don't eat well. I can feel the brain fog. I can feel those things. So I don't want anybody to look on YouTube and just think like, "Oh man, he's talking because he's whatever."
Yeah,
Like I feel the same things too. So that's why it's personal for me as well. I
yeah.
struggle with sugar. Bro, I'm a candy head. I'm a baked goods.
This
Like
is
I
true. I've seen
it
this. Yeah,
the pizza. I mean, I'll put food away, and sometimes it's bad too because I feel like I don't necessarily see it on the outward because my metabolism just is my genetics,
yeah.
but physically I feel it, mentally I feel it. So I'm there too. I just
Hmm.
want to say that as well. So
Yeah, yeah,
again, I'm not judging anybody, condemning anybody, not saying like. So that's what I want to say. So I'm on the same journey to manage my weight healthily, make good choices, and have good self control as well. The other
yeah,
thing I want to say is, and you kind of talked about it here in just a second, what you're doing, just some practicals, maybe to somebody who's listening. And so I would say let's not be the stereotypical board game community. If you listen to this, get up and take a walk if you don't. Get outside, do 30 minutes of exercise, a 30-minute walk. It does wonders for you. If you are having a game night, Joe knows there are healthy choice options for
hmm,
candies. He came over and I had a whole thing my wife got me for Christmas at the natural health food store, and a lot of health food stores will have candies that are lower in sugar, have better sugars in there. They're not refined. They have different sweeteners in them. So even there's better choices even in the candy space. And so it might just take you a little bit to go out of your way to make those choices. So then you're actually still eating better and while you're at the table. And then just the foods that you're bringing to the table. If you have a group that you guys normally get together, maybe somebody have one healthy option every time you guys get together for fellowship and rotate that and add that in the mix. So little things like that just to start, little practicals will add up over time. It's a compounding effect. Joe was talking about finances. That's how
yep,
finances work. It's all about the compounding, and you have to start somewhere. So I don't care where you at are in your journey or what your struggle is, one day at a time. That's how you do it. You just compound doing little steps every single day, and it will compound into something greater that you will see a greater benefit of.
yeah, yeah. And again, you mentioned walking too. and I was just pulling it up because I'm like, gosh, what is the word there? Like how walking actually is super, super beneficial, especially early on, because running is like it's a glycogen burner. And so like it'll burn your reserves, it'll burn the sugars, it'll burn those things quickly, where walking has a little bit more of a metabolic effect, right? Like,
Yes.
so as you're
Yep.
walking, you'll actually be more effective in fat burning over time.
Yep.
They both carry their weight. Geesh, no pun intended there. Sorry. They do. They have their merit, but walking is efficient and is good. And so I have a treadmill at my standing desk. You know, those kind of things. Walking is super good for you, and I know that, again, and I don't do it enough.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where I'm like, man, like I know that the way walking works, how good it is, especially when you are eating properly. So, yo, and if you're somebody that's like, yo, I need help with this, I need accountability, like, I mean, I can't say that we can do that for every single person, but we would love to at least be a lifeline.
Love to. Love to
Um,
reach out.
yeah, and I
We can
mean,
fellowship that way. I will
yeah,
come. I will come walk with you personally and chat it up about whatever you want and listen to your
hey, you
board
heard
game
it, bro.
topics.
Yeah, you
Yes.
in the UK, you're gonna get Ray out there walking with you, bro.
Hey,
You in
my
Cali,
wife
he
loves
gonna
to
come
travel,
on.
so yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
that's
yeah, man.
there you go.
I mean, it's another way to fellowship, right? Like you're playing board
I
games. Hey,
support it.
take a break after a game, get up. You guys go for a walk together, come back, sit down, play another game. Like
Yep.
it's still all in the fellowship and building the kingdom and building the body of Christ together.
Love that. That's so good. Yeah. So, hey, we want to be encouragement, but we're going to talk about hard things. This is a hard thing for me. Even Ray saying it's a hard thing for him at times, as well. And so, like, we're not going to skirt those things. We want to talk about hard stuff, man. And there's so much more to talk about, y'all. We're just tip of the iceberg stuff. So, hey, if you've been listening, thank you so much for checking us out and all that. If you find this to be an encouragement, share it with your friends. Do all that jazzerific jazz. But we want to leave you as always, and I'm gonna get the verse right this time because the last couple of times, bro, I don't know, I've just been slipping it up. But it's Matthew 5:16, not 13, like I said the other day, but 5:16. Let your light shine before others, right? So they would see your good deeds and glorify our Father who is in heaven. We want to be doing that. We want to represent Jesus well. Whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, let's do it all to the glory of God. Eat,
Amen.
drink, board games, the whole nines. Let's do it all to God's glory. So thank you so much for taking the time. We hope this episode was a blessing. Share it out. Do all that fun stuff. Cool beans. Peace.
Peace.
Record it. So I can hear that. Oh, yeah. All right. So Ray says that I am a completely different pitch in my voice.
It's kind of comical, actually.
How come you can hear it and I can't hear it? Let me see. All right.
I don't know.
I'm gonna stop recording. I don't even get this, bro. If that actually happened,